Check.
Welcome to the KTA board meeting. Let's get started. We do have a quorum, so we're missing a vice chair, but maybe he'll show up. Approval of the minutes from June. Do I have a motion? Second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Minutes approved as distributed, I guess. I do not have a report. Do any of the commissioners have reports? Go.
I'd just like to say that this is my final board meeting as a KTA commissioner, so I would like to say thank you, particularly to all of the CAT staff, Isaac and Umar and everyone, for all of the great things that have been accomplished over the last few years. When I started on the board at the beginning of 2022, we were just starting the CAT Reimagine process, so it is just remarkable to me to see all the changes that have occurred over the last few years, the positive impact it's had on the community. So thank you very much for the opportunity to serve on the board. Oh, and I want to also say thank you to John and Sharon for always providing good counsel and advice throughout the last few years as well, particularly last year when I was serving as vice chair and chair. So again, it's been really an honor, and I hope to see you all in a year when I return from Germany.
I was going to do all that and praise you, but then I left that to Isaac. So thank you for your service, and he's going to, because I didn't know all that you had done through CAT Reimagine since I was not here, but we thank you anyway. Staff reports.
Yeah, Commissioner Brakewood stole my thunder there. I wanted to thank her for her time on the KTA board, and I'm really happy and sad for her family in the next adventure, but I'm hoping I can steal her back when you come back to the States. So I do appreciate your leadership too in stepping in as chair for I think about 6 months. So I greatly appreciate it, and your leadership too during CAT Reimagine. So again, I'm hoping I can steal you back when you come back to the States.
We'll find you. We know where you live.
The other two items are just briefly want to mention. Last Thursday, we provided a city council during a workshop a presentation, early presentation, our transit supportive development study. We are looking at developing ways to develop the corridor. We're using our FTA Areas of Persistent Poverty grant for that. We've provided some, early examples of what we can do to develop the corridors, add more density and more activity for our major and minor corridors. So I think that is on. I can never remember the media channel, but it should be on there if you want to catch that. The other item I want to mention is just greatly appreciate Umar, Quentin, Clay, and our entire operations team, as well as our on-time performance this month is 86%. So that's incredible. You guys are doing a great job. And we're almost to that 90%. So wanted to thank the team for that. That's all my updates.
For now.
Yeah.
Mr. Burton.
The famous travel survey. I know I've mentioned this a few times.
I got it.
My agency, in conjunction with TDOT and the UT Transportation Research Center, is doing what's called a household travel survey. It's a scientific random survey, so it's being sent out to people in random. So unfortunately, if you're really interested, you can't just do it. You have to get the letter. And what it basically is it asks you to track your travel for a day. You can either print it out and do like a paper diary, or there's an app where you can do it all online. They'll start sending these letters back out on August 7th. They took a break during the summer because they want to be sure they're capturing people's travel when school's in and everything like that. So maybe we'll get you a letter here.
Maybe one day.
But I really would encourage, one thing is, I think they're trying to get 3,000 from the region. It's just not the city of Knoxville. It also concerns Anderson, Blount, Loudoun counties. And so the biggest thing is having people believe that this is a legitimate, you get so much stuff in the mail today, So if you have someone that asks you about it, say, hey, you might work with the TPO or TDOT, is this a legitimate thing? Please encourage them to take it. These type of surveys transit riders are always underrepresented, and low income and minority citizens are underrepresented, but so we're really trying to be sure we can get a good sample. So please encourage people to take the survey if they get it.
If they get it is the key, I'm just saying.
Thank you.
So, and thanks to planning and Director Thorne for all their work on the workshop that they did the other day. It's preliminary, but it's really good, and if you wanted it, it's probably on YouTube at this point, but community media recorded it, so I think it's worth watching personally if you're interested. New business.
There's no new business.
No new business. Old business.
For old business, we want to talk about, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but before we get to the public hearing, we want to make these recommendations, go over the presentation before we have the public hearing. That way everybody's informed on what we're talking and discussing today. I'm going to turn it over to, I believe, Clay to talk about the route modifications to Route 1, Downtown Connector, and Route 16. We did bring these to the board as a recommendation in June. We wanted to wait till to this date to have the actual public hearing, so.
I can take it from here. Thank you, Isaac. Good afternoon. My name is Clay Mercer, transit planner here with CAT. And if you'll direct your attention to the projector, or the screen, sorry, I'll walk you through these changes, or the proposed changes. So our first one is for the Route 1 Downtown Connector. To better serve the Smoky Stadium as well as the Old City, we are revising it to go, let me pull up the left and rights. Outbound from Gay Street, right onto Summit Hill Drive, left onto Patton Street, which continues straight into Willow Avenue, left onto Central Street, right onto Summit Hill Drive, right onto Gay Street to resume the regular route. Inbound, there are no route revisions. We will be adding 2 new stops to this revision. The first one is at the Covenant Health Park shuttle pickup drop-off location, as well as a stop at Central and Willow Avenue to allow access to the Old City. And let me go back to the first slide. This will maintain 15-minute service to the stadium, so no major schedule changes there. And our second revision will be to the Route 16 Cedar Bluff Middlebrook. This change is to better serve the medical district over there on Dow Springs. And the revision with the left to right are as follows. Outbound from Middlebrook Pike, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is right onto Old Wise Garber Road, left onto Dow Springs Boulevard, right onto Middlebrook Pike to resume regular route. Inbound from Middlebrook Pike, also Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., 6 p.m. It will be left onto Old Wise Garber Road, left onto Dow Springs Boulevard, left onto Middlebrook Pike to resume regular route. I'll go back to that. And for this revision, we will be adding 4 new stops. That is 2 on Old Wise Garber and then 2 on Dow Springs. This is to give the best access to the most amount of clinics and providers over there. So we've got 1 at the family care clinics, 1 at, I believe that's East Tennessee Behavioral Health, and then coming down Dow Springs, you've got 1 near the Cancer Survival Center, the Peninsula Outpatient Clinic, and then one down near Middlebrook Pike at Gastrointestinal Associates. And like I said before, this will be only Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then, yeah, and that's all we have for those. So, Ms. Pat, do you want me to turn it over to you regarding Title VI changes? Or
I think at this point in time, should we do the public hearing then?
My name is Sharwin Snelson. My address is 235 Carter Road, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37914. Okay. Do I have, 5 minutes? Is that correct? All right. So my concerns are some issues that have been happening with the lift system, as I cannot speak for the fixed line because I don't take that. But with the lift, there have been several concerns that I would like to bring up. I brought it up to management one time, but I want to bring it up again to see if I can get some other people's attention if we can't make some necessary changes. We'll start with, unfortunately, sometimes when things happen, when it comes to the lift, we're always told that the system did it, meaning EcoLane generated the trip. Well, that is great and all, but you have humans there to make the necessary changes, okay? One of the concerns I brought up were trip distribution. How are trips, distributed amongst drivers? Why is it some drivers get to sit for 1 or 2 hours and others are busting tail? Unfortunately, sometimes when I call in, some of my concerns are dismissed as if it's not a big deal or big concern. The van's on its way. They're doing the best they can. I don't know what to tell you. I've asked, can you find the van? I can't. You have the technology. You can find where the van is. Another concern was not giving enough time for some of these trips. I work out west, and we all know 5 o'clock traffic is no joke, although I compare Tazewell Pike with it no matter what. So there has to be sufficient time to factor in traffic, and especially wheelchairs, so that those people are secured properly so they don't take a chance of being hurt. Another concern I had was long wait time. I thought it had gotten better, but again, this past week, it was an excessive wait time, and I was put through to several people. Another concern I had was, even though trips are going to be moved around, it's just, I think there has to be more attention to watching the screens, making the necessary changes when they have to happen. If you notice that a van is running late, for whatever reason, you got to make those necessary changes to move to get people where they need to be on time. It doesn't matter if you're going to the gym, it doesn't matter if you're going to work, it doesn't matter where you're going. You want to get to your destination on time. Because we understand mess-ups happen, and that's fine. But I've broken it down. I said once is an incident, 2 is a coincidence, and 3 is a pattern. And unfortunately, that's what I have been seeing here lately, is a pattern. Although sometimes passengers may go in the same direction, they don't always have to be in the same van, because you have to look at the drop-off times as well. I did have a concern, because I know that the main line and the lift are technically separate entities. And so I was questioning, what would it take to actually have an extra board for the lift? So when those drivers fall behind, they can count on that separate extra board to take care of them. Of course, I had something, I'm not sure who would be able to answer this. I wanted to know, what is the process for adding more vans to the lift? I know that the ridership's gone up, but what actually goes into making the decision as to when you can add a van during, maybe peak time and peak hours? And then I want to address this one because I'm not sure what's happening. I don't know if it's a technical thing, what's going on in the office, but I will call and ask to speak to management. I have direct numbers. But unfortunately, I called just before I came in. I called a particular manager. It rings 10 times. And after that, this is the message I get. It will say that your call cannot be completed as the received caller declines the request. Or, excuse me, your call cannot be completed as the called party declines the request. Now, I was thinking, well, maybe it's just me, okay? But I had a friend call, and the same thing happens. So it's as if the concerns that I have are not going to be addressed because I can't even leave that message. It's just something that's automated where I can't leave my concerns.
You have 1 minute, sir.
Okay. And that in and of itself is very concerning to me, okay? Because I speak up not just on my behalf, but others who ride the lift and depend on this to get where they need to go. And these are things that have been brought up over and over and over and over again. At moments, there have been strides of improvement, but they go right back to where we started from. And unfortunately, sometimes they get even worse. So we've had discussions about maybe having the right people in place. And so I would like to know especially who is it that I need to reach out to when I have these concerns, and does that individual actually have a working number?
25 seconds.
That'll be it. Thank you.
Is there somebody back there? I don't think there's anybody else here. Anybody else like to comment on routes 1 or 16 changes? I think there's anybody else here. Back to Ozzy.
Yeah, we can turn it over to, if there's none, we can turn it over to Pat to talk about the Title VI analysis.
Good afternoon. Just to give you all an overview for the new commissioner, because we receive federal dollars and we operate 50 or more fixed route buses, and we are in an urbanized area of over 200,000 people in population, we are mandated by FTA to have a Title VI program. And within that Title VI program, we are required to set what we call major service changes. And the Title VI policy that the board approved, anything that constitutes a major service change is anything that affects, any change that affects 25% or more of the number of transit route miles of a route, addition or deletion, or 25% or more of the number of transit revenue vehicle miles of a route, computed daily for the day of the week for which the change is to be made. So that's the definition of a major service change. So when we talk about Route 1, the downtown connector, it is considered a major service change. If you look at page 2 of the Title VI analysis, the total service change is 36.9%. So that is over the 25% threshold. So that is considered a major service change, but however, it's a great impact. It's a very positive impact because it does not have an adverse impact on the minority or low-income population because of the increase in services. And so therefore, the Route 16, again, a service change, but based on the analysis, it only represents 0.72% service change, so that does not exceed a 25% threshold, so it's not considered a major service change. So I won't be talking about the Route 16 change, but it will have a positive impact on our low-income and minority population. If you flip over on page 4, the maps pretty much give you an overview of the downtown connector and the percentage of minority within the consensus block ID. And if you have questions, I'm going to defer to Clay to explain all of this. But if you look at the map 1, Route 1 downtown connector, the minority, percent minority in the census block ID, you can see that the changes for Route 1 impacts the minority population, but not significantly. And then if you look over at the map 3, map 1 and 2 represent the minority census block, map 3 and 4 represent the low income census block ID. And as you can see, based on the map and the route for the downtown connector, you can see the impact it has on the low income population as well. So based on that, there is no significant disparate impact or disproportionate impact on the minority or low-income population. So once we do those analyses, we have to also do an accrual of benefit analysis, which is on page 9, and we compare Route 1 to our current system-wide service. And one of the things we have to ensure that the overall accrual of benefits is distributed equally, or the minority or low income has greater access to these changes. And as you can look at the table below, based on this particular route, the percent of minority compared to non-minority is 51%. So the minority will have will benefit a lot more from the changes in this particular route. And then when you look at the low income, it's 59% compared to the 62% system-wide, which is not exceeding that 62%, but it's close to. So therefore, our low income will also benefit from the service changes for Route 1. Any questions?
Do we know the proposed change percentages for the minority and low-income routes for that?
Are you talking about, let's see.
So like on page 9, we now know that 51% of people who are in minority classified blocks should be able to access these rides. What was it before?
Was it 36?
So we went up about 15%
Yeah.
having access. And what about the low-income one? So we went up about 17% for the low income?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And can you just remind me where the data in Table 1 comes from? Is this from census data?
Just 1 second. From map 1 or from the first table you said?
I'm looking at Table 1.
Oh, Table 1. Yeah.
This is from our scheduling software, OptiBus, that utilizes American Community Survey data and census data. From 2019 to 2023, I believe, is the latest batch, but yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else on staff got anything to add to that?
I did just want to comment that the maps we provided were just it's a new thing. We're trying to provide a better visual of how changes may affect low-income and minority populations, especially providing comparison between the months by census block groups. We thought that you can get pretty granular, and it just helps you visualize where these people are and how the routing change can affect them. That's all I have.
Do you use Remix anymore?
Those were actually made with Remix.
Oh, great.
I was wondering if that's what it was.
Very helpful.
It might be gone when you get back.
This Title VI analysis of routes 1 through 18 is very informative, except for that it's too small.
Too small.
Which page, ma'am?
The last one.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Teeny, teeny, tiny.
I apologize for that. It was very difficult to compress that big spreadsheet in there, but I can provide you with the, I guess, enlarged data if you would like it. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think in the future, we'll print this table out on 11 by 17, which will be much bigger.
So, what we doing?
Any further presentation from staff? Comment, discussion?
Comments, discussion? No.
Need a motion?
Motion. We'll take a motion. I've never done a public hearing. Do I have a second? Second? No more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, ayes have it. It is approved. So we're to public comments again, which we don't have any because we already had them.
Any further?
Any further comments? I think the gentleman here is the only one here. I don't see anybody, so I can't see back there. Okay, so.
I have a question regarding the
Yes.
previous public comment.
Sure.
So I know we oftentimes have community members share concerns about cat lift, and I don't think I even know the process for how we resolve those concerns. I just want to know, how can we address some of the concerns he shared, because they're pretty valid. But I just want to know the process for when someone brings a concern about cat lift. Where can that be resolved? Because we typically don't do it here.
Yep. So what I'm going to do is meet with Mr. Snelson right after this. I made some pretty detailed notes of some issues he's brought up, to meet with them to discuss all those, in terms of, I believe you're trying to call Bobby, is that correct? And you're having issues calling Bobby. Also regarding our on-time performance, we do have people monitoring that now under our OCC. And we do have new lift buses that just went into service this week, so I can talk to you about that. And then I can also talk about the extra board and the dual purpose it serves right now. But, and I believe, Mr. Sullivan, you also had an opportunity to sit down with Bobby, our operations director. So, and I think that took place, last week or 2 weeks ago. But I also want to make sure that we're making progress on your complaints and concerns and making sure we're addressing those.
So you're going to get with him after?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Does that take care of that for you at this point? Okay. I guess that's it, other than setting the next meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
I recognize that this body does not take up these issues, but since they have also been brought up here several times, it would be very helpful just to know what happens, if they're addressed, and if you feel that they were resolved in a way that was helpful. Not that we have anything to do with it, I do see that, but I know that I get asked questions about what happens, and if I don't know the answers, I can't be supportive of the solutions, and I'm sure they're there, so.
And it sounds like even from Mr. Snelson's comments that we've made some progress and then we kind of backtrack. We make some progress, kind of backtrack, specifically to Mr. Snelson's comments today. So.
Any more comments? You sure? Okay. I guess we will set the next meeting for August the 28th at 3 p.m. minus our friend Candace, who will be across the pond somewhere. We will miss you very much. So, anyway, I guess this meeting is adjourned.